So, a quick recap of what we've learned so far. Remember, there are 3 modes supported currently by the Space Navigator and Second Life. You can always go to Edit menu and Preferences and in Input and Camera and click the joystick setup button, unless this changes sometime. And this is where the 3 modes are listed: Avatar, Build, and Flycam. Now remember this, you can use them in conjunction with each other. It makes things a lot more fluid and smooth, which is exactly why this device can be so handy. The normal mode is Avatar motion, if you're pushing parallel, whether it's up, down, left, or right, without twisting the cap. Okay, so that's the first set of dimensions, like that. And the second is if you're twisting it in various dimensions, in directions like this. That will also move your camera. And if you're pushing down or pulling up on it, that's the third dimension, crouch or fly. Okay? When you're in Flycam mode, again, which is activated by pushing this button, and a little text comes up on the bottom right, Flycam. Then think of you're holding a camera and you want to move it left and right and you want to move it upwards, so you pull up on the cap and you push down. And a quick way to adjust the smoothness and all this, you can always remember, go to View menu and Reset View. And notice there's also a new joystick Flycam option, which you can enable or disable. You can push Escape to reset your view at any time. Edit menu, Preferences, and in the joystick setup, you can control the scaling of the Flycam. So if you want to move more kind of slowly, then you can just change that down to 1 like that, and just move that out of the way, and go back into the Flycam mode, and you'll see it has more of a nuanced movement, even though I'm moving it the same direction and intensity that I did before. Customize that to your preference. Remember, there's the third build mode. And before I get into that, you can use this in mouse look. For those of you who are curious, View and mouse look, or just M. Wow, that takes me a long way with the Flycam. That's gotta be kind of weird. Ooh. Let me exit out of Flycam, and there. That's very strange. Okay, so in mouse look, of course, you can use this to look around. It's not quite as easy as with the normal mouse, which is why I guess it's called mouse look mode and not 3D Connection Space Navigator mode. But nevertheless, it's an option available to you. Escape to leave mouse look. And when you're building, you can also use the joystick Flycam when you're building. So if I go ahead and create an object, first of all, I can edit this by moving, and by pushing this mouse button, this Space Navigator button, then it says Flycam again, and I can pan around the object and zoom closer and go up and down if I so wish. It's a bit tricky at first, but you'll learn in time. Ooh, there we go. Takes nuanced control. There we go. It's rewarding. Hands-on. It's very hands-on. And Flycam, of course, is very popular with movie makers. You're going to want to check into this if you think, camera motion in Second Life is so hard to get a hold of. It's so rough. Well, this is exactly why we make this. And you can have different sorts of views. So the next thing we're going to look at right now, buttons. Oh, magical buttons. You may have wondered earlier and said, hey, Torley, why don't you just configure one of the buttons to do the escape key thing instead of having to go to View menu and Reset View, so you don't even have to take your hand off the Space Navigator, even though technically I have 2 hands. Well, it's a good exercise in learning. So I'm going to show you, if I go to my Windows control panel, right up here where it says 3D Xware panel, I want to double click on this, and I want you to as well once you have this installed. And it lets you control various options which are useful for other applications too, because this Space Navigator can be used beyond Second Life with other programs like Google Earth and various CAD simulations and so on and so forth. 3D is the name of the game, right? So right here, you go to the Button Configuration tab and go ahead and click that. And by default, you'll remember that the left button is on Flycam mode. I haven't found a way to override that yet, but it goes Flycam on and off. But the right one is free. So let's go back to that control panel. Let me just pop that back open. And the right one can be customized. Normally it opens up this control panel, but from this drop-down menu, I can go ahead and click that and look for the escape key right there. And I'll select that, and then I'll OK this change, click OK, and go back into Second Life. So now, if I'm using the Space Navigator and I'm in Flycam mode, which I press the left button there, and I'm going to maneuver it up and down, woohoo, just, twist and turn, you know the routine now, it's a lot of fun. Then I want to reset view, I just press this right underused button, but the more I press it, the better use it'll be. Like that. And my view is reset, so go ahead and have some fun customizing the buttons to do different things. You're also going to notice that you can set it up to do various macros. Like if you're in custom functions, then you can make something a lot more advanced. You can set up a whole string of things, sort of like a gesture, only it's not in Second Life, it's part of the 3D connection control panel. Give that a spin. We're just about to wrap up, but I hope you've had a delightful time with these video tutorials. I hope they've been of help communicating why this is so appealing, why it's so nice to have this 3D connection Space Navigator, and someday I'm going to be a virtuoso at this with more practice. It's just my first day, and I'm doing this video tutorial, and look what I'm already showing you, right? So you can go ahead and get this. It's available right now, and you can see our public information on the launch of it. Pretty cool, right? So delightful. And a couple of caveats before I go. First being, if you're on a Windows machine, you should have it plugged in before you start Second Life. It will not hot plug correctly. On a Mac, it's somewhat of a different story. But on a Windows, just do as I do. I plugged it in and started up Second Life. Oh, and I installed the drivers too, because I wanted full support that way. All right, I'm just going to fly up here. And the second one being, keep in mind everyone's configuration, each and every person's is different. Like, some people have kind of slender hands, some people have bigger hands, and depending how you want to control it, that's all adjustable from here in the joystick configuration, which is in the preferences in the input tab, the input and camera tab right here, joystick setup. So customize this to your liking. It looks intimidating at first. Like I said, this is still an early version. I hope we have a simplified view in the future. I very much hope for that. There's always the defaults you can click on and just poke one number at a time to see what a difference that can make for you. Well, this has been Torley Linden demonstrating my fun new toy, the 3D Connection Space Navigator for use with Second Life. I'm going to go ahead now and fly off into the sunset. Let me just go ahead and enable a sunset. And then I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, move the camera here, and I'm going to fly towards it. Let's see, gonna need some practice. Get up here, okay. And there's my sunset. Hello, and here I go. Have a lovely day, night, wherever you are, and time in Second Life. Woohoo!